Hello and welcome to our next CrowdProperty.com funding opportunity. Today we're going to be returning for the Phase 5 launch at Meadow, Dunstable Road, Redbourn, St Albans. That's AL3 7PQ. Now, CrowdProperty is a peer-to-peer lending platform designed to facilitate loans between private individuals and professional property businesses. CrowdProperty is authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority under permission number 723959. CrowdProperty is not covered by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. There are risks with any loans you make, and just like all peer-to-peer lending, your capital is at risk. CrowdProperty endeavours to protect all lenders. This is done by registering the legal first charge against the property project. This means that in the very unlikely event a borrower defaults on the loan, CrowdProperty will be able to take ownership of the project and manage it for the lenders. Now, the borrower on this project is Acre Invest Limited, their company number 101783325. The director of the company is Rob Dennis, and the construction manager is Sam Brewster. I'm delighted that Sam is with us on this webinar. Welcome along, Sam. Tell us a little bit more about you and also Rob.
I work for Acres, the construction manager, so I'm in charge of getting Acres schemes built out. So I deal with the day-to-day running of the sites and have various site managers who work underneath me getting it finished. Rob Dennis is a very experienced property developer, has come back into the UK about 6 years ago now. And so since then we've been doing our own developments together. Rob deals with the financing and the sales side, and I deal with the construction.
So let's look at this project then. This is the final raise where CrowdProperty has agreed a total facility of £2.96 million. That's to develop this site in Redbourn, Hertfordshire. The raise is for 200,000 with 2.61 million already raised and used. The borrower has not commenced works on one property as they're seeking to enhance the planning, which is why £150,000 of the originally agreed facility is not going to be raised. This Phase 5 is to pay 8% interest. It's rolled up until the loan end date of the 29th of April 2021. Whilst the borrower is reporting sales on 3 of the 4 properties, it's expected that the full redemption of the facility will run past the loan end date. And so therefore, investors will receive an enhanced interest rate of 10% for any outstanding capital still owed. Let's start off then, please, Sam, by finding out a little bit more about the local village of Redbourn.
Yep, so Redbourn is a relatively small village on the outskirts of St Albans and Harpenden. It's close to the M1, really good rail links into London. The nearest station probably is Harpenden, or St Albans probably the same, sort of roughly the same distance away. But yeah, very affluent area, very nice village, nice local pubs and shops. So yeah, lovely town.
Planning permission was granted by St Albans City and District Council. Their planning reference 5/2018/1334 and listed planning consent 5/18/1374, where permission is in place for the restoration and conversion of the existing barns to become 2 units, together with the construction in the grounds of a terrace of 3 new houses. Once the works are completed, the properties will provide 5 dwellings with the anticipated GDV of £5.3 million. This contracted loan term end date is the 29th of April 2021. The project is already first charge secured, and 3 sales are reported to being processed at the moment by the developer. So here's more about the location then. Property located on the northeastern edge of Redbourn is predominantly a residential area. And as we heard Sam saying, the local amenities there has got superstores such as the Co-op and other smaller retailers as well. There's several schools in the local area, various historical monuments, including Iron Age Fort Hill, Roman temples and churches. Verulamium Park has ornamental lakes and the remains of the city's ancient Roman wall as well. Here's a location plan to show you where we're talking about. So there's Redbourn, close to St Albans, you can see just by the M1 on the left-hand side there. On the right-hand side, you can see inside the village of Redbourn where we're talking in closer detail. And here's an architect's drawing of what is being planned to be built. That's the front elevations of the new build terrace. And then I've got a cross section here as well. What are we looking at on this photo, Sam?
So on this photo, obviously you're seeing the section through the building, so you can see the head heights and how the staircases and windows, etc., are arranged with the floor levels to show. Obviously, you get full head height in both floors. They're also showing where the car parking is between the properties, where we're creating some undercroft parking, which is all as per the planning approved drawing. So we haven't really changed from that.
I've got some computer generated images here as well as to how it's going to look at the end of it. Barn A on the right hand side. On the left we've got the terraced houses, and that's how they're going to look from the front. On here is Barn B, which isn't being part now of this project. And on the right hand side you can see a bird's eye view of how the layout is going to be of those 5 dwellings on the site. Here's how it will look inside. Barn A on the left hand side, Barn B on the right hand side of that. And then I've got a summary as well to share with everybody. There's the 5 properties listed down the left hand side, the anticipated value, the bedroom layout and the square footage as well. How did you come across this project, Sam?
Rob Dennis was introduced to the site by a business friend. The previous vendor had obtained the planning consent on the site. Once he got the consent, we then purchased it ready to go straight into construction to build it out.
Now, you've had the independent monitoring surveyor there, of course, because the project is ongoing. This is the visit to the site on the 26th of January, a snowy day, as you can see from the photos. Explain what they found.
So on this day, obviously very cold day, you see in the top photo there the 3 houses. They are now all structurally complete, windows in, etc., just about to receive the external cladding, which is about to go on. On the bottom photo is Barn A. That's showing the structure is up. The oak frame that's been restored is all up and complete. The scaffolding is going over the top of the structure, and we've also put a tin hat over the top of that unit, so we can continue to work internally. On that slide on the left-hand photo is the tin hat. So that allows us to work on that unit now in all weather conditions, which is good. Particularly being at the time of year it is. And these are some photos of the internals of the houses, so you can see they're quite advanced now, fitting the remaining kitchens and decorating, and we'll be pulling in floors, etc., giving them a tidy up. So the houses are basically done, and then that's some further photos of Barn A. In the right hand photo, where there's a guy on the scissor lift, he's actually sandblasting the oak frame, getting it cleaned up and ready for the roof installation to go on. We hope by middle to end of March we'll have the roof done, and we'll have all the cladding done on Barn A, so it will look like a completed building from the outside.
Now, we know that Barn B is currently on hold. The other properties are moving forward. Explain where you're up to.
New build plot 1 and plot 3 are both sold. Actually, on plot 1, we are doing a straight swap with the owner's house, because they're actually moving from somewhere else in Redbourn. So we're doing a straight swap with their property because there's some land attached to it. Plot 2, we're in negotiations with some parties, but we haven't managed to secure the sale on that. And then plot 3 is just a straightforward purchase, and then we're taking Barn A on the directs, because one of the directors is keeping it for themselves. And then Barn B is on hold because of we're trying to get some further planning gain on it to secure a higher GDV.
And who are you finding as a typical buyer of these plots?
I see plot 2 being sold to more of an elderly couple, because it's got a much smaller living room downstairs, but it has a nice big upstairs for if grandkids are coming over, rather than to a family, because I just think downstairs is a little bit too small for a family.
Now, I've got some case studies as well I'd like you to talk us through, please, Sam, if you wouldn't mind. This is Pearman Court in Luton. What did you do on this one?
So this one is now built, so we built 88 apartments. During the build, we got another planning permission to put another floor on it, so another 15 apartments, taking it up to 103 in total. That's now all built, and we're well on our way to selling. We've probably sold about half of them now, but yeah, well on our way to selling the rest off and moving on.
And for our second case study, we're staying in Luton. This is Oakley House. Describe this one.
So this one, although it's the start date, October 2019, this one has actually been on hold because we've only recently purchased it. We had some difficulties on the purchase, and we've got an existing tenant on the site. Unfortunately, a section of the building burnt down during the purchase, so added further complications. We now own the building, and we're going back in to tweak the plan, and we're going to go and build it out, hopefully latter part of this year.
Let's return back to Maris Meadow. So this is the 5th phase of a 5-phase raise of £200,000 on this particular raise. This will take the total facility to 2.81 million, which is £150,000 less than the agreed facility, but is being withheld because of what Sam was explaining to us about Barn B being on hold. 2.61 million raised to date, and this has been used towards the purchase of the site and ongoing works. Rick's verified the gross development value to be 5.3 million. The estimated construction cost is £1,404,660. Lenders are going to be receiving interest on this raise rolled up and paid at exit at the rate of 8% per annum equivalent. It will move up to 10% per annum equivalent on any funds that have not been returned after the loan end date. The loan to gross development value excluding the rolled up interest is estimated at 57.2%. and the amount owed at exit to gross development value including the interest is 60.8%. The maximum loan period up until April 2021 is to coincide with the loan end date at the 8% rate. This phase 5 is targeted to start on the 28th of February 2021. So the 3 units then are currently under offer. Lenders are currently getting 8% per annum. If it should overrun from the 29th of April, that will increase up to 10%. The capital and the interest is going to be paid at exit. The project is already first charge secured against the property at Land Registry. So your next steps then are to make sure that you understand the loan. Please carry out your own due diligence and then decide how much you would like to lend. CrowdProperty.com is the place to be to pledge on launch. The necessary anti-money laundering checks will be carried out, and then you'll be invited to send your funds to your own online e-wallet, and you'll start earning interest on completion of the loan agreement. So this is the 5th and final raise where we're looking for £200,000 for Maris Meadow, Dunstable Road, Redbourn, St Albans, AL3 7PQ. Thank you for watching this CrowdProperty.com funding opportunity. We look forward to you joining us again soon back here for more funding opportunities at CrowdProperty.com.